You guys like some PC gaming in your life, right? I know I do. If you watch me, then you know that I am a PC master racer. I love the PC. I love gaming on PC. I love Steam. I'm not much of a console gamer, and I haven't been since I was a teenager. No hate to people who play on console. It's just that PC is objectively superior. Nothing I can do about that. Just gotta, play my games accordingly. The only problem is, while PC is normally significantly cheaper and better, price to performance wise, and offers you far more in terms of what you can do on it for the amount that you invest into it, especially if you build your own computer. And on top of that, computer building is itself its own fun, very just fulfilling hobby. It has gone, in the last year, from being a hobby beloved by many to a hobby that is dreaded to be unaffordable for most in the coming years. I don't know how many of you guys remember this, but when crypto got really, really big, something similar to what we're about to talk about happened. GPU prices, that is graphics cards, the devices in a computer used to process graphics, basically it's the heart of the computer. It's the part that really allows it to do that heavy cardio of running a heavy game, you know what I mean? Better the graphics card, typically, the more graphically intensive the video game you can play, and the higher the frame rate and resolution you can play it at. But graphics cards got super unaffordable during the crypto mining boom because everyone was using them to mine cryptocurrency. No one could afford graphics cards. They got way more expensive than they already were. But one part in PC building that is typically seen as an afterthought. Like, yeah, you drop a bit of money on it, but typically it's considered the kind of thing that you shouldn't have to dedicate a significant portion of your PC building budget to, that being your RAM. And make no mistake, your RAM is still quite important. I mean, if you don't have enough RAM, your build is going to be severely bottlenecked. And now, it is easy to upgrade RAM in the future, but ideally, you build your computer and it has enough RAM to do what it needs to do day one. RAM, on the other hand, has been experiencing a massive spike in price. It has been dubbed the RAM-pocalypse. It has gotten so bad that people are making videos about it. And we actually talked about this a little bit a year ago, when tech products started to see significant price jumps after Trump's tariffs took effect. Now we're a whole year into almost a year into Trump's presidency, and those tariffs, those poor economic planning policies, they're bearing their fruit. They're shitty, rotten, disgusting fruit. And now, no one can afford RAM. Apparently, right now, a Corsair DDR5 RAM kit of, I'm guessing, like 64 gigs or something is about $300, which is insane. That should be closer to like $200 or $180 under normal circumstances. RAM prices have doubled and tripled in many areas. It is really, really bad. And so I thought we'd go ahead and dive into this YouTube video on the topic. The video is by a creator I've never seen before named NetLoss. Small channel, but seems to have made quite the banger here. So I thought we'd go ahead and give it a watch and learn about how Trump's policy and no doubt many other factors are making PC building unaffordable for gamers right now, and how a lot of those gamers are probably going to vote differently in this next election to try and get a change of some kind in this untenable, unsustainable situation. Without any further ado, though, if you like this video, leave a like on it, comment down below to boost it in the algorithm, and subscribe if you want to see more from me. In fact, comment down below, lower the RAM if you want to boost the video in the algorithm, and if you've commented enough in the past to unlock the hype button on my videos, then leave a hype down below. It really does boost the video in the algorithm. With all that said, let's get right into it.
I still come to you nonetheless at 2 a.m. up netting my losses. Who else? I'll tell you why, though. I am a real sad boy. I'm on my Schopenhauer hours, and the answer is simple. In the same way, this record player is very beat up. I should get a new one. I can't and won't because of a simple fact: economics. I sit to you today on this millennial tech startup R2-D2 ass looking share that sucks to be on because I hate myself. Just like him, like I said, on my Schopenhauer hours, for a simple fact that we are in the RAM-pocalypse, and me and you and everyone else you know is gonna have it rammed up you because of a simple fact that the RAM, the memory, everything throughout your life is touched by this one product. It's the bottleneck that spurned this whole thing to begin with. I'll let you know today exactly the true origins, the way no one seems to be.
And a lot of it is AI, by the way. A lot of what's doing this is AI. You know what's so fucked about this as well? Like, RAM prices going up is one thing, But the fact that it's happening now of all times is just extra insult to injury, because this has got to be the worst economy I have ever seen. This is easily the worst economic state America has been in my lifetime. Like, it's not even close, bro. It's bad right now. Like, people are suffering, people are struggling. Even the streamers and the content creators are struggling. Your boy Zan is struggling out here in this terrible economy. Donate to Xander Hall to help alleviate that if you can. But yeah, people can't afford shit right now, and prices are skyrocketing. Not exactly a good combination for a complacent population. This is how you breed political radicalism.
Reporting on yet, except for a few like broken silicon, the goat. How the hell do you deal with this? What to be worried about? Like the crime wave targeting gamers this summer. What to watch out for? Buy now. The true answer, TLDR, is buy yesterday. Just like a tree, best time to plant was yesterday. Second best time's today, by the way. Only after this video, though. Okay? Let me tell you why. Because we're going down.
Damn, this editing.
We never appreciate what we got, only what we don't, eh? Tragedy of man, goddamn. What I want to describe here today is truly monumental. It's not about the RAM we don't. For most of us, it won't be, because there's so many electronics in our day-to-day lives that we have no clue even require it. But goddamn, this RAM apocalypse is upon us, and it will be ramming its long financial dick up your ass for years to come. And look, okay, a lot of people want to blame guys like OpenAI, Sam Altman, and yes, they did spurn or kick off this shit, but this shit was long in the making, okay? That's what matters today. The symptom, but not the cause. You see, what
I really wish that, like, I just know that it wouldn't do all that well in the current, like, state of the channel. Maybe at some point in the future, if YouTube just releases their firm, tight grip around my channel's throat, I'll do it. But I really want to do a big, deep dive into the way that the AI bubble is shitifying all our tech. Like, I want to do, like, a prepared documentary-style video on it. From social media to video sharing to AI assistance to just everything, to the way that the AI bubble is inflating prices on certain products, the way it ties into the crypto bubble and the parallels that exist there. I want to make that video. Now is not the time to make it. YouTube would just not let it get anywhere. It would die out. Channel's in a rough spot. But, like, somewhere down the road, I want to do that. That is a video I want to make.
They did was a 40% of the entire industry supply contract with the two of the three biggest memory manufacturers on Earth. There's only three, by the way, that supply like 96% of all memory. Within that,
monopoly.
You got a 40% contract with the biggest two of the three. And because it was so hush-hush and it was such a big deal, all of these companies never talked amongst each other. It didn't leak because they thought, don't let anyone else know we're about to get this sweetheart deal. And so when both companies suddenly realized, oh shit, we just promised half the world's supply of RAM away, damn, they would have charged more. But regardless what little they had left, the other 50, they could charge a lot more for, because they were already structuring this, okay? This doesn't start with Sam. No, Sam was the symptom, not the cause. The cause were the...
Like, people are going to automatically assume, those that are, you know, they believe in capitalism, we'll say, those people are going to assume that this is purely a supply and demand problem. And to an extent, the demand is high, the supply is low. There's that. But even when that's alleviated, the prices are probably not going to change much. A 4x in pricing is largely being done to take advantage of things. Like, I don't think it's any surprise that we're in that time of year when people tend to buy things, when people tend to buy, like, Black Friday just happened, people tend to build their PCs around now. I feel like maybe these companies, they might have done a little bit of inorganic rising of the prices on top of what was already organically happening, because in what way are they hurt by it? They know what they're doing. Their profits definitely went into the green compared to last year because of this move.
Triopoly. The Triopoly, three companies on Earth, SY Hynix, Samsung, and Micron, the only American one. The other two are South Korean. All three of them goddamn knew what they were doing, okay? They've in the past already been arrested and tried and jailed sometimes for colluding on price fixing with this shit, because again, It's such a small industry. But basically, their margins were eroding and they had a bit of a supply glut, and they're like, oh man, fuck this. What if we all agreed to, like, not make much capacity? And so that's what they did, and now we are in the pigsty we are. But the issue is,
it's like a techno version of what's happening with the rent market right now, where a bunch of different companies that own thousands upon thousands of apartments and houses all agree, you know, if we keep half of our owned properties empty and then just inflate the prices of the other half that we keep on the market, we can just manufacture ridiculously high demand and ridiculously low supply. We just collude to create that market. And that is what many rental organizations have been doing for years now, that has led to this like rising cost of living in America, this rising cost of rent, while supply, the availability of places to rent, continues to drop. There are plenty of houses, there are plenty of apartments. It's just many of them are owned and kept deliberately empty in order to artificially raise the price through a fake supply and demand curve.
It didn't have to be this way this quick. Why it did, though, is because OpenAI. Yes, this is why I hate Sam. It didn't have to be this bad. In their minds, these memory companies, the three, they thought that it would be that they would slowly raise prices over a year or two, and it would be a melt-up. But it would be slow and gradual, it would be priced in, people would accommodate it. Either use less RAM, or willing to pay higher prices. Either way, it would be a slower, gradual...
Yeah, just use less RAM, bro. Just use less RAM. Yeah, people are totally going to go with that when games require more RAM now than ever.
Type of shit. But the issue is, that's not what happened, because when OpenAI signed biggest two of the three with that type of contract for half their supply, suddenly every other company on Earth who needs RAM, which is every company on Earth that makes anything these days, basically. Like, oh my god, I'll get into what and why, but just like everything you think of has RAM. And like all the companies at once were like, oh.
You know what has RAM that you would never expect has RAM? You know what has fucking RAM in it? ATMs. I got a buddy who's an ATM repair guy. And like the way he's described the inside of an ATM, it's got an SSD in it. Like they have NVMe SSDs in them, and they have RAM in them. ATM machines have RAM. When you know that's how widespread its usage is, you fully can comprehend, oh my god, it's not just the consumer market. In the corporate world, there are so many bulk deals being made to buy this RAM for their own manufacturing and maintenance. You know, like, there are people whose job it is to visit, like, 100 ATMs that are broken down a day and switch out the RAM, switch out the broken SSD, restock the ATM receipt paper, that kind of thing.
Oh fuck, there's no RAM. And the thing is, again, they were undercutting supply. They were purposely not investing in new capex to build out facilities despite the demand because they wanted higher margins by fixing it this way, in a legal way, they hoped. And I think that's what miscommunication must have occurred with their FPA. Because the FP&A teams, if they didn't plan this from a legal standpoint, then they should fire everyone on their FP&A team for every company involved in this. Because if it weren't for the facts that lawsuits would have gotten them ruined, I'm assuming that's why no one predicted this. But you should not auction off 40% of your supply during when you expect to reap the rewards from the margin expansion from a lack of supply. You should not have done this. Only reason FP&A would have allowed that shit to be signed is because they didn't know, okay? And I'm assuming it was some Chinese wall shit where they were doing that to protect themselves from legal cases. But if it wasn't that, they need to like fire everyone involved in that. Regardless though,
I think this was deliberate.
Did plan this. Again, OpenAI did kick it off, yes. And it would have been much more gradual, but what they did was just bring forward all the future demand and scares over scarcity because they did a big contract at once. All of these hyperscalers doing the AI bullshit, they all have the money to throw around for it. And Sam, again, correctly identified, this is the cheapest, most non-negotiable, you cannot work around this type of bottleneck to get everyone else on. And I think that's weakness.
That is so evil, man. It really is. Like, RAM is that, like, what he's describing right now is that RAM being a bottleneck is that in any kind of computer building, if you're building any type of machine, RAM is, if you're doing something on your computer, like if my computer had half the RAM it has right now, I'm streaming right now, watching a video, and playing a game all simultaneously, while I also have web pages open with multiple tabs. Like, these are all things that require RAM. The amount of things your PC is trying to do is typically what RAM requires. Now, as time goes by, individual programs are getting to require more and more and more RAM by the day. We're at the point now where, like, Google Chrome uses an absurd amount of RAM. Opera GX, which is sold as, like, the browser that is super RAM efficient, uses a shitload of RAM. When your browser, having your browser open uses like 30%, 40% of your RAM when you've got a 60 or 32 gig kit going, it goes to show how badly you need to have enough. You know, you can't play a game and have a web page open and stream or do anything else if you don't have enough RAM. And it's typically an afterthought of a part. It's usually pretty cheap. Like, enough RAM to not bottleneck 99% of systems is like $150 under normal circumstances. And compared to the rest of your build, that's like nothing, right? It's $120, $100 even. Like, it's not even close. It's an afterthought in terms of your PC parts. Like, you mostly focus on the CPU and the graphics card. But RAM, you need good RAM. You need enough RAM in your PC to do anything. You can have a $5,000 graphics card in your PC, but if you got 16 gigs of RAM, good luck doing anything. Good luck getting your PC to break a sweat, or your other PC parts to break a sweat. Because you're only as good as your worst part in your computer. And so what these tech bros figured out was that they used the monopoly to artificially raise the prices for this one part. They've got the entire tech industry by the balls. Everything needs RAM. Every consumer needs RAM. They've got everyone by the balls.
Spell it out today. Sam Altman, by making this bet, in my mind, shows that he doesn't believe in his own company or himself or his team to be able to keep on top of the AI world for years to come. He has no faith in any of that, and so he thought, what's the cheapest way to successfully win? And it's by strangling the competition through one thing they cannot overcome, which is memory. Memory isn't everything. Most of all, fucking GPUs and other shit that they use for the clouds. More importantly, it's trained off it too. Like, you need clusters of H100s, H200s. All these companies do somewhat have supply, but to varying extents. Like, I can't fathom how quick it got so much out of control, but it makes sense because if you think about it, right? Everyone's like, oh, it won't be that bad. Oh, it's just RAM or just storage. Buddy, I want to express this very loud and clear for you. Let me disabuse you of this notion. You think you're going band for band with Bezos. You're not. You're not, okay?
These tech bros are perfectly happy making tech that has been affordable for the working class a luxury item that only a fraction of the population can afford, but pays top dollar for. They're absolutely fine with that. And we've been seeing it happen for a while now. Apple has kind of paved the way for this. I think people were willing to let Apple slide for so long, and I've been a premier Apple hater for as long as I can remember. Apple's whole branding has been moving tech to be more unaffordable for the average person, and actively building a culture around shaming people for not wanting to spend or overspend on every new yearly release of a tech product and every new yearly release of all the accessories as well that are all like hardware locked to only be compatible with other stuff you bought from Apple. Apple's kind of like paved the way for this. Like, expect tech as a whole to become more like Apple in the future if something does not stop. If someone does not put a stop to this, then every product you buy from a tech company is going to be like the kind of financial decision it is today to buy an iPhone. A dumb one that you should only be making if you're, frankly, a wealthy celebrity of some kind. And these companies are totally fine making all tech like that. Like, if you're not making high six figures a year income, they're fine with it, with you not being able to afford a this year's phone. These companies are fine with that because the people who can pay are willing to pay a lot.
Is gonna win every day of the goddamn week because you got no money to be had. These guys are paying out the ass for it, and you were getting rammed up the ass for their own pleasure. I know it's came for everything else, and I'm telling you, this RAM thing, it's not even the thing of price. The issue, what really matters, is that the hyperscalers, the cloud competitors that are all racing the AI arms race, they're all racing towards that end goal. You've heard the statement, if anyone builds it, everyone dies. That's some bullshit idiot thinking, okay? The true answer is if anyone builds it, the rest of us lose forever. And if it happens to kill humanity, then we still lose. And so our incentives, the logical conclusion of this thought is I must attempt to build it, because even if it ends humanity, at least it precludes the idea of my competitor getting it and then me also still being ruined, but them not, right? I know that sounds ridiculous to speak out loud. It's logical. Again, within itself, it's internally consistent. It makes sense to think this way if you believe this to be a potential outcome, even if you don't believe it to be likely. The thought, the off chance, the risk of that happening and you not being the company to do it means that everything's over. Alternatively, I can't get over the idea of we will be in like fully automated luxury space gay communism, whatever the hell type shit. Like, it doesn't matter. Companies don't matter. None of that shit matters. We will be post scarcity if we
like, we want to believe, we want to hope that the ideal future is the gay luxury space communism, right? And that's like one of my biggest worries is that late-stage capitalism and automation will reach this, like, pinnacle point where both things are at their absolute worst simultaneously and none of us survive it. Like, that's my biggest fear, is that, like, the economy and capitalism are more ruthless and competitive than ever, while automation just blows up everywhere. Job scarcity goes through the roof, pay goes through the floor, affordability goes through the roof, or unaffordability to live goes through the roof at the same time. Like, that's my big fear, and I don't think anybody gets out of that. Like, most people don't survive it. Yeah, like a great filter economically of the entire country, basically. That's, I think, my big fear right now. And what I'm hoping is that America can see substantial change, economically speaking. Like the dream is that America becomes socialist one day. And a lot of people argue, well, if we have a socialist country, what if people don't work? What if people just decide all their base needs are met, and as long as those are met, there's no need to work? And so we just see a massive labor shortage because no one wants to work if their basic needs are guaranteed to be met. If that's the case, then, well, thank God for automation, right? Under socialism, under a system where a lack of labor is a nightmare, but people don't need to do labor to survive, automation is a dream. Under capitalism, especially late-stage capitalism, what we're going through right now, automation is a nightmare.
Had the good outcome of AI, in which case it doesn't matter how many shares you own, we'd all be post-scarcity. It's not like some people be more post-scarcity than others. This is what AI would do if it were in the benevolent outcome we're all hoping for, which is a fundamental flaw. But again, regardless, the thinking, the flawed, however it may be, their wood and iron bullshit, this is what they think, is that if the off chance it could be built exists, we must attempt to build it, because if our competitor does, it's over. And so you gotta remember, most RAM of that regard goes towards shit like, say, you know, desktop computers, or even companies that are like packagers or like white label companies. One of the first things that made me sweat bullets was a brand and DRAM. If you have a gaming PC, they're one of them. They're like, oh yeah, we got fucked on this. Just to be clear, if you want any sort of supply, be ready for 2027 type shit. And I'm like, wait, but you're...
God damn. Do I hear Ram Ranch in the background? There are definitely some gay dog whistles in this video that I'm starting to see you guys in chat pick up on. The Ram Ranch, the ass ramming jokes, for sure. Definitely some subliminal messaging in this video, for sure. Very good content so far, I gotta say. I always love stumbling across like a 30,000-40,000 sub channel and their content is fire.
Your job is RAM. That is your thing. If your only thing is RAM and you couldn't have foreseen this bullshit, either you're getting outspent or you're getting outplayed. But the fact that you are the RAM company means that if you're getting outplayed regardless, there's just so little supply, we're all fucked. Like again, no one is pricing this in or even fathoming what this could mean. But holy shit. And all that means for you as the end user is suddenly, it's not even that shit gets more expensive, it's that shit just is not for sale anymore, because there is just a finite amount of wafers, a finite amount of fabs that are out there making memory controller.
Too bad we decided that Biden wasn't good enough, right? Who remembers the CHIPS Act? God, what we could have had.
There's like all these different things. The reason I made this video in part is because I saw the low power, like the RAM that's in your cell phone, the shit that's not good. The AI companies are buying out that supply. That means that it's over. And not just that, but again, RAM companies, all they do is RAM, and they're like, oh, sorry, we just never were able to secure any supply for the next 2 years. That's all you do. If the RAM companies themselves couldn't figure it out, we are fucked, because that means there's none. And there was none, to be clear. This was a predictable, slow-moving train wreck. But again, it was supposed to be slow-moving. We would have adapted. But it wasn't now, because OpenAI did kick down the doors, and for that, I hate Sam, okay? If he were in front of me today, I'd ram my foot up his ass.
And make no mistake, a big part of that panic buying is tariffs. We all know why the economy tanked right after Trump was announced, took office, right? Like in the months after, like before Trump could really even start implementing economic policy, the economy started tanking. And the reason for that, a big reason why we saw the US GDP drop and the economy start to tank right out the gate is because Trump announced his tariffs. And a lot of these retailers started mass buying stock, like backstocking themselves. They started mass buying all of their products so that they could have enough to source for their shelves in the future when the prices to import go up. But of course, eventually, that, obviously that had an immediate effect on the economy. All these companies buying a shitload of inventory and holding on to it, like backlogging their inventory. And then, of course, once that runs out, these companies have to start paying the tariff prices on these products and start shelving them in America. And those prices aren't being taken on the chin by these corporations, by these big retailers. They're passing the price down to us, and that's why everything's more expensive now. Well, in the case of RAM, it's one of the reasons.
If I didn't think you'd like it. But okay, not that there's anything wrong with that. Point being is that when it comes to all these AI hyperscalers, their incentives are very clear, and at the end of the day, they have so much cash to burn. It's not even dead, to be clear as well. This shit, people think the AI bubble's popping soon. One, I think the thought that everyone's got that it is a bubble kind of prolongs it, because if everyone thinks it's gonna end, then now everyone's very much more reserved now. And you can see that too with NVIDIA earnings, best ever, market retracted. And I do agree, like, it is way beyond its breaches, but just like that is a sign that people aren't really bubbly as they should be for a bubble. But
I mean, I think that's a little doomer. Every bubble will pop. Like, there's no way that AI is going to be an infinitely profitable venture. There's just no way. I don't believe it. Like, crypto wasn't infinitely profitable. That was a fucking bubble. The internet was a bubble that popped. Like, the concept of the internet advertising was a bubble that popped. Especially anything that proliferates through the internet, the bubble will pop.
Regardless, this shit's gonna go on for another year or two, I think, at least. But this RAM apocalypse,
that's possible.
You know, fuck it. Okay, get down from up there. Okay, give me this. Give me this.
You said you wanted to live in a world without RAM, Jimmy. Well, now your car has no battery.
So the big question on everyone's mind is, how are we going to be fucked, and how can we cope or get around all this shit, right? Now, I want to start off by warning gamers. I swear I'm not kidding here. I'm pretty sure there's about to be a massive, like, nationwide, global crime wave committed specifically against gamers. I'll get to why and how soon, although you can probably infer. But in the meantime, let me talk to the normies, because there's so much shit.
Dude, imagine that actually ends up happening. Like, people start specifically, like, targeting Twitch streamers and, like, pro gamers, like, robbing their houses to, like, pilfer their PC parts. I don't know. Like, I'd say, like, PC parts have already been fairly valuable. Like, if you break into someone's house and steal their gaming PC, you probably pawn it for a good payday, but I don't know. Maybe the gamer targeted crime wave is coming.
To go over when it comes to what the fuck is going to happen to the average Joe in this day and age when it comes to the RAM shortage. Well, for starters, I saw an article a day or two ago that they are now going and buying up all of the low power RAM units. What's low power RAM go into? Well, think what requires low power, what needs low power for it to operate for the whole day,
Phones.
let's say. Your phone. Take
Yeah.
Apple, right? Do you know Apple, when they have an iPhone, how many gigabytes of RAM do you think's in there? Well, the latest model could be either 8 or 12, and next year's model is apparently going to be 12 across the board, because they need it, again, for local AI ran from Siri or whatever they partner with Google for. And so, even though Apple will probably be fine, I should note that Apple is famous for having one of the best inventory turnover ratios in the entire industry. 30-some times a year, I want to say, like 35. It's ridiculous. What does
That is what's happening. Apple, despite their rabid anti-consumer practices for decades, has gotten away with it every time and seen compounding profits. Why would the rest of the tech industry not see what Apple's been doing and copy it? Get ready for every phone, period, to be $1,000 now. Or more. Probably $2,000, $3,000. Expect this is the future of tech if something is not done. Unless serious regulation puts its foot down across the world, this is the future of tech for everybody. Like, you don't just have to be a gamer. If you're a tech consumer of any kind, like, you enjoy having a cell phone, well, bad news.
What does that imply, though? It implies that at best, they keep like 2 weeks supply on hand. Now, a lot of supply is technically probably kept off books to make their numbers look nice. Maybe the memory manufacturers have shit waiting to be shipped to them. And if you're going to screw over any customer, Apple is the exact bottom last on the list of ones to do it to, because they are a very bitter, spiteful enemy to have. But look at what Qualcomm has to say about Apple. Or Facebook. The App Store is essentially ran off of Facebook's back, and Apple spits in their face for it despite all of the billions of dollars per year that Zuckerberg delivers to them. I honestly think that's a big fatal flaw in Apple. They need to get over that shit and embrace Facebook for the true partner they are, but that's beside the point, different video. But again, how is this relevant to the average Joe? Well, it's not just about pricing. Again, it will be more expensive probably. Apple will be more insulated. If you're on Android though, not only will you be way more affected, but let's be real here, most of the market won't be making phones, or at least not most of the phones being made today a year from now. And it's simply because there is just no amount of price you could pay to get RAM. There's only so much what few
If you think that you can buy something cheaper and older, sorry guys, the limited amount of RAM they have is going to be used exclusively to make their newest, most expensive, shiny, brand new phones, or whatever product you're thinking of. So the availability of like those mid-tier and lower tier priced, like cheaper, lesser options, they're going away. Those are going extinct because they don't have enough hardware. They don't have enough inventory to manufacture variety. Instead, they got to put all their inventory into their most, like, high-profit, expensive shit. So it's not just that RAM is becoming unaffordable. Anything with RAM in it is about to become unaffordable.
There is left to go around, and so you got to prioritize, and they prioritize the high margin shit. That means no cheap phones. And speaking of prioritizing higher margin shit, did you know HBM2 is like 60% margins? The amount of money you can make compared to what you get with DDR5 or some shit, good margin, it's like 30, 40 maybe, but it's not 60, let me tell you that much. Memory manufacturers prioritize the highest margin shit. The same for phones. That means what little RAM they got goes to the highest profit products, which means most expensive, which means if you buy cheap phones normally, if you plan on upgrading in the next year or two, stop watching this video immediately, close your phone, go to the nearest store wherever you want to buy it from, and buy it while there's still time, because they aren't going to make them for a bit. Again, I know this sounds pretty crazy, but I swear to God, there's many more products beyond that I think you should do the same.
What a horrible time to be in. Like, the economy is terrible, everything's getting more expensive, and the warnings that you're receiving from people are, if you want to buy anything in the next couple years, buy it now, because this is the cheapest it's going to be. Whew! Oh boy. We got a rough future in front of us, don't we, guys? We got a rough time in front of us. Things are about to get tough. This is a really good video. I think this did a really good job of breaking down the situation. I don't want to watch the whole thing here, because if I do, then you guys might not want to go out of your way to go give the original video a view, a comment, and a like, which I highly recommend you do. In fact, like I said, go check out the original creator, Net Loss, link down below in the description if I don't forget. If you want to go send some support, I highly recommend you do. And if you enjoyed this video, then please consider leaving a like and a comment down below. It really does help a lot. It means a ton to me. Subscribe and ring the bell icon if you want to make sure YouTube tells you when I go live or upload in the future. Well, won't make sure, but it'll help. And of course, if you want to boost my video in the algorithm, comment down below, lower the RAM. And if you've commented enough in the past that you've unlocked it before, then hit the hype button if you want to directly boost my video in the algorithm even more. Really does help. Thank you for your support, and no matter what, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.